Hi everyone, how are you today? I'm so excited to be here with you. I just wrapped up Easter in my album and I thought it would be nice to just go through with you some tips that I have for working on travel scrapbooking. Now we traveled for the weekend to Melbourne and I just really love Melbourne. My husband's originally from there and we love going home, seeing family and friends. Of course, it means that we have a lot of pictures from our trip usually because I just really love documenting it all. And I felt like this time though it was a lot of pictures, and I am doing the Project Life format, which is a bit different from last year where I probably would do spreads for each like just full outside the page protector spreads for these types of trips. Last year I documented our Easter in our storyline chapters album, and that was really fun to do because it allows you to do a lot of interactive bits and include a lot of pictures in it. So this year my challenge was doing it all in pocket pages, which I quite liked. But then I also have to document, just embellish each of the pages. And so I just wanted to take you through a flip through of my album and my top 5 tips for documenting travels. So one of the first things, tip 1, would be really and truly batch printing photos. Now, what I would have tried to do during the trip as much as possible is to upload my photos to a Canva layout, an A4 layout, so that I can have the pictures in there that I've selected for each day and ready to print when we return from holiday. So what that does, sometimes I need to edit, most times I don't. So the things that I would probably edit in Canva would be, just adding a filter or adjusting the brightness and whatnot, and then sizing them down to either 3x4 or 4x6, or in the cases of the full page layout, 6.875 by 8.25 or 7 by 8.25, depending on what you like. And once I have those sized, then by the time I get home I have all my photos in a document that's ready to print. And so those would have been just printing off my A4 pages, and there were like 19 pages with all my photos in it. And then I can proceed to cut down. So the next step is I cut down all of my photos, and that takes quite a bit of time, and then I put them into my pockets. So I felt like this process was a bit simpler because when I'm putting them into pockets, I can either decide to leave spaces for journal cards and additional embellishments, or I can just fill up the spaces with our photos and then add things like labels in order to put in the information about what the photo meant to me. So my second tip would be cut down all your photos and put them into your pocket pages based on what you'd like, and perhaps you have an idea as well, if you're used to doing pocket pages, of how much space you like to leave. Sometimes I just like leaving a blank space to kind of add some space in this spread, because unlike bigger spreads where you could leave white space, sometimes there isn't as much white space in the pocket pages. And so following that, then decide on what embellishments you'd like to use. So for me, I started off using embellishments from my Ali Edwards travel collections. I have quite a few of those things, and so I really wanted to use up a bit of my stash. And I also pulled out some other kits, like from my citrus twist kits, and then because I'm the Studio Calico guest designer for April, my April kits and things arrived probably in the middle of this week, which was just when I was kind of stuck on this page actually. So I'd already finished, you know, embellishing this first day, which was Friday or Thursday, and then I was ready to document or to embellish Friday. And so I used the Studio Calico kits because those were quite travel-y, and they also sent the travel collection Wonder often with their documenter kit and memory keeping kits for the month, and so I was able to use those. And so I feel like having specific kits that you'd like to use for your layouts really help with the design process, because when you're embellishing, then you're not trying to pull from everything in your stash. That was taking me very long, and that's what I did for some of these previous pages. It was fun, but it takes a while. And so once I decided to hone in on using these two kits, the Wonder Often and the April Grove kit, I was just able to pull from those things and pull the colors that were matching. So that will be my tip number 4, pulling colors that match your photos in your spreads. So there was the red, so I wanted to run with the red, and then the green and blue, which were some of the main colors in this spread. So I pulled out, you know, some of the green and blue items, some of the red items, and that helped to bring the spreads together. And so also for here I pulled out the pinks because I didn't really use pink in the previous spread, and I liked you just adding a bit of interaction. I used my crocodile here and added a tag so this could actually open up and pull down, and you know, and this part flips up, and then I matched this one with the one here, so you have yeah, just some nice interaction happening. Now by this page I was like, you know, this was actually last night, and I said I just wanted to call it done. So I did use the embellishments from the Studio Calico kits, and I just brought it all together for Easter Sunday. Of course it's Easter Sunday, so I decided that I wanted to pull out some of my Easter things. So I was like, where do I have Easter things from my stash? And it was color cast. I actually had it in a separate little tin, just all the Easter things, because I think last year I wanted to use them, but then I ended up doing the storyline chapter, so I didn't. So I had them all here laid out, and I felt like this was a nice fun way to break up the spread and break up the color from the embellishments. So my next one will be tip number 5 is put all your journaling in one block. So you'd see here that I don't really have journaling. I do have a bit of just some captions for what's in each one. So in this one, this is actually a portrait of my husband's great grandfather. So it's for my son, it's great grandpa in the painting. And then this one is actually a photo that his mom's father painted, so I just put those things in with the labels briefly. But what I did to save time was that I had all the journaling printed for the entire trip on this, which I am yet to embellish. I will do that later today, or I might leave it because I kind of just like having something plain in the middle of all of the embellished pages. But I might just put an index tab here, Avery tab, and call it done. So that really helps to bring things together quickly, especially when you have lots of photos, you have lots of embellishments happening, because you have to embellish each page, and well, you don't have to. At one point I really thought that I would just leave the photos like a photo album, and you know, we have the journaling so we know what's happening, but then this started to come together really quickly once I decided that I was just going to use these spreads and then a couple of sprinklings of my Easter embellishments. I think I've now used all of the things that said Happy Easter in my stash, which is great because I can free up to yeah, get some more things next year for Easter. I also decided to use one set of numbers. This is from an old, I think it was the Action Story Kit, which was a couple years ago with Ali Edwards. I had them in my stash for a very long time, and I thought they looked really nice and simple and clean, and especially with the colors from the Studio Calico kit. And you know, all the playfulness happening with my son. We had some play dates, and so I felt like it was a nice way to bring it all together. And then recurring some of these things, which would be the circle sticker with one of the puffy elements in between. You would have seen a few of these that I've used in some of these. I really love those circle embellishments. So circle with the puffy sticker, and I repeated that throughout with some of the butterflies as well. So just having a simple leisurely formula for some of the things, how to pull them all together. So those are my top 5 tips so when you're scrapbooking your travels, because yes, it's a lot of pictures and it could seem like a mammoth task, because as of yesterday I really felt like I wasn't really going to finish this over the weekend, but I just dug my heels in, used one kit and just brought them all together. So I hope that you've liked my video today with some tips. Please let me know in the comments below any tips that you have when you are documenting your travels. I'd love to hear them, and I hope that you stick around, like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Thank you for stopping by, and do have a wonderful week ahead. Bye.